Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying this long weekend off school. Had Friday off. We still got Monday and Tuesday to go. But we are in the life of Christ, and we left off last week with getting some of his disciples, and we talked about how they were looking forward to the things that Jesus was going to do. At this point, boys and girls, he hasn't necessarily performed any miracles, but that's what we're getting to today. So John chapter 2, we're going to look at verses 1 through 11. In verse 1, it says, "And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there." Okay, so we're just setting the stage, getting the background. There's a marriage feast, and Mary is there, Jesus' mother. Verse number 2, "And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage." So Jesus and his disciples that we read about in John chapter 1 were also called to this marriage. "And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine." Now, boys and girls, think of it like grape juice, okay? We're going to use the word wine because that's what the Bible uses, but you can think about it like grape juice. So they ran out. They're having this big party, and they ran out of their juice, their drink. And it's like, oh dear, what's going to happen now? We're out of the good stuff. Now, they could drink water, but yeah, I shouldn't say most of us. I could speak for Peter and I. Neither one of us really prefer to drink water. We do it because we need to, but it is not our favorite. So, we'd be disappointed if we were at this feast and they had run out of the drink and all our option was water. But verse number 3, "And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine." So boys and girls, they're out of wine. They're looking around like, did anybody bring some extra? Where can we get some? Is there some in the kitchen? Go squeeze some more grapes. We need some more to drink. And Jesus's mother says, sorry, boys and girls, I couldn't remember which verse I left off on. The mother of Jesus, Peter's got my back. The mother of Jesus says, well, go to Jesus. Jesus will help you out. Verse number 4, "Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee?" He is not being disrespectful, while it might sound like that. He says, "Mine hour is not yet come." He's like, not yet. Like, this isn't the place. This isn't the time. Verse number 5, "His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it." So, boys and girls, Jesus and his mom talk again. He's not being disrespectful, but his mom recognizes, you know what? Jesus could take care of this problem. Jesus could take care of it. And she says to the servants, whatever he says to do, do that. Okay, so let's see what happens. Verse number 6, "And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece." And I Googled that last night. It's about 20 to 30 gallons of water per each, liquid that could fit in there per firkin. So per water pot. Each water pot could hold 2 to 3 firkins. That's roughly 20 to 30 gallons. Okay, boys and girls, a gallon of milk. 20 or 30 of them would fit in one of these pots. And then there were 6 of them. So what Jesus is about to tell them to do is actually a rather big task. Okay, 30 times 6, you're talking 180 gallons of water. He asked them to fill it up with. Verse number 7, "Jesus saith unto him, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them to the brim." Boys and girls, they didn't just do it a little bit. They didn't be like, Jesus, water? Like, who wants water? These people are expecting wine. They went and did it. They didn't talk back. They didn't complain. They didn't half-heartedly obey. They filled it to the brim. They filled it all the way up. They fully obeyed. Verse 8, "And he said unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bear it." So they filled it with water, boys and girls. They've taken and filled all of these pots with water. And Jesus says, okay, dip your cup in now and go take it to the head of the feast, the one who's in charge. Can you imagine what's going through their mind? Like, Jesus, it's water. He doesn't want water. He wants wine. But boys and girls, again, we don't see them talk back. We don't see them say, no, Jesus, not that. We see them just do it. They bear it. They went and did it. Verse number 9 says, when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water, that was made wine, and knew not whence it was. But the servants which drew the water knew. The governor of the feast called the bridegroom. So boys and girls, when they took it to him, the Bible doesn't tell us that they knew. It says they drew out the water. They didn't realize that it was wine, that Jesus had changed it. But when they give it to the man, he takes a drink. He's like, whoa, this stuff's good. This is great. And they're like, it's water. We brought you water. They don't understand fully from what we read what has happened, but boys and girls, they obeyed. They did what they were asked to do. Sometimes we don't understand why somebody would ask us to do something, but it's important that we obey. As you get older and God asks you to move or take on a job or get this degree, sometimes we don't understand, but it's so important that we obey. They obeyed, and then we find out it's the best tasting wine at the party. Verse number 10, and saith unto him, every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. He calls the bridegroom, and he's like, hey, this is even better than the stuff at the beginning. What's going on? And of course, the bridegroom has no idea because Jesus had done the miracle. Boys and girls, we can add drinks. I had given Peter one here to add to show you, but boys and girls, I can't just tell this one here, turn into wine. I cannot just talk to it and it just magically changes. Now I can do the action, or Peter can do the action of putting a drink mix inside of it, and then we can turn it into something else, but we had to do an action. Boys and girls, Jesus didn't do anything. He didn't go over there with some powder and mix it in. He just told the people, put the water in, and then he turned it into wine. Verse number 11, this beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. This is his first miracle that we see in the scripture. This is the first thing he did to prove that he was God. He was the Son of God. Boys and girls, we see that the servants obeyed. They fully obeyed. They didn't just fill them halfway. They filled them to the brim, and those would have been very heavy to carry. If you've ever even filled up a trash can with water, you know how heavy water can get. Yeah, muscles, that's right. Peter's been working out. But we see the full obedience, and then we see that Jesus took care of his people. Boys and girls, Jesus also obeyed his mom. He's an adult, and he still respects and honors his mom and honors her wishes, and he cared for people. So lots packed into this lesson. Again, I feel like with the life of Jesus, there's always so many lessons we can draw. But as you go about this week, how can you help someone? Can you hold the door? Can you carry something for them? Is there something around the house that you could do for mom or dad? Do grandma or grandpa need help picking something up? What can you do to be a help? And then how can you obey fully, not just half-heartedly? Well, we look forward to seeing you next week.